Chair, thanks, gentlemen. Recognize the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Johnson, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We could be here for a lot of reasons this morning. We could be looking into the manipulation of Facebook by the Russians to help Donald Trump get elected. We could be looking into the Russian interference with the presidential election. We could be looking at Russian hacking into state election processes. We could be talking about in this committee legislation to protect the Mueller investigation. None of those areas has this committee been involved with during the last 15 months that we've been in session. We could be talking about gun control. We could be talking about the DREAM Act in this committee. No hearings whatsoever. But what we are dealing with today, we're giving a platform to Diamond and Silk. And you ladies are very impressive to me. You have taken something and you have moved forward with it, exercising your First Amendment rights. And you've made a ton of money off of Facebook. Isn't that correct?
Absolutely not, because Facebook censored us for 6 months.
Now, Donald Trump introduced you all at a rally last year, and he introduced y'all saying that you were very popular and you had made a ton of money based on your affiliation with him. Isn't that correct?
Let me tell you what he was doing.
Yes,
he was calling those things that was not as though they were, is what he was doing then.
Okay.
But let me tell you something.
But he has given you
But Facebook censored us for 6 months.
Hold on one second, ma'am. The point I'm trying to make is you all have been bashing Facebook and you've been making a ton of money. Isn't that correct?
No.
Excuse me,
No.
no.
You've not been,
Wait a minute, hold on. Unsafe to the community.
You've not been making a ton of money based on your bashing of Facebook?
No. We didn't bash Facebook. What we did was we brought it to the light on how Facebook has been censoring conservative voices like ourselves for 6 months, 29 days, 5 hours, 43 minutes, and 40 seconds. That's what they did.
Now, I can tell you something.
Have you been making money? Have you been monetizing?
They won't let us monetize on Facebook.
So you
They
haven't
stopped it for 6 months, 29 days.
So they've been messing with your money then?
Exactly. That's
They
exactly
limited our page is what they did.
And YouTube did also by demonetizing 95% of our videos for no reason at all, deeming it as hate speech. However, allow me to say
that with selling merchandise on the
well, even if we sell merchandise, that don't have anything to do with Facebook. Facebook censored our free speech. And shame on the ones that don't even see that we have been censored. Yet, when the Black Lives Matter people complain about it, oh, everybody is up in arms. Let me just say this here. If the shoe was on the other foot and Mark Zuckerberg was a conservative and we were liberals, oh, all fences and all chains would have broke loose. You know it and I know it. But what I find appalling is that these Democrats, they don't want to take up for our voices.
Democrats would be in the street. Democrats would be in the street right now marching and calling him all type of racist.
I'd like to give you a little bit more time. I'd like to give you a little bit more time, but I got to move on. I only got a minute left.
Okay.
But I appreciate you all for your entrepreneurial spirit.
That's
and we're giving you a tremendous,
and we want to attain it too.
And we're giving you a tremendous platform with this hearing to make a ton of money when it's over.
That's right. And I hope everybody on Facebook can follow us.
And yes, that's right. That's right. Because that's what it's supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about obtaining the American dream. We are African American women. If illegal aliens can come over here and build businesses, why can't we? And we were born on this soil. Oh, you don't have a right to silence my voice.
Well, now I've always heard though that diamonds are a girl's best friend.
They are, and they hard too. And if I got to be hard and be firm with you, I will. You're not going to brush us off and dismiss us like we don't have merit here. These people censored us for no reason. They put limitations on our page for no reason, and that was wrong.
But rather than diamonds, you're seeking money with Facebook. Isn't that correct?
Well, you know what? If Facebook is a platform for you to make money, then so be it. Everybody
right.
else do
Well, I
it.
respect-
And don't stop us from making any.
And don't make us feel guilty because we and other people that's built their brand page want to make money. We've spent plenty of money.
All
That's right.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I'm just astounded that this committee would stoop to this level to be positioning you all to make more money.
We really thank the committee for
allowing
this
us.
to the light,
I'm sure
for
that-
little
I'm a-
voices like us.
I'm sure that you-
It's little voices
Thank
like
you.
us.
Because it wasn't you. You didn't do it.
Thank you.
The
It
time
was-
of
it
the
was-
gentleman, the time of the gentleman has expired. I thank the exchange. The gentleman asked the questions, the ladies answered his questions. And the chair now
I
recognizes,
thank the chairman.
the chair now recognizes the gentleman from Iowa, Mr. King, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me see, I'd almost tempted to yield my time back to Mr. Johnson, but
Bring it.
Come on.
instead, before I forget, I have some documents I'd like to ask consent to enter into the record. The first one is from Mr. Jim Hoft of the Gateway Pundit, St. Louis, and he's the one who I think initiated the beginnings of this hearing today. He has taken a pretty hard hit himself in multiple different ways, and I've watched as his views have gone from been dropped down from 33%. Facebook page was 33% of the overall views, down to 3%.
That's right.
1/11 of what it was. That would be evidence of censorship, in my opinion. A number of other comments in there that I'd like to introduce that into the record, along with a Christian publisher says Google banned it over faith we express, which illustrates that quoting the Bible can get you censored in this country. And there are multiple charts here delivered by a Gateway Pundit of other, here's Gateway Pundit's traffic, here's the president's traffic, which the gentleladies expressed in their testimony, the Young Conservatives traffic, which went from around 5.75 million down to essentially nothing, and in a similar period of time, multiple other sites, conservative sites, all of them, the graphics and the charts, it's the best material out here that quantifies this impact, I think, produced by Mr. Jim Hoft. And I hope that one day he can come and testify before this Congress as well, because my private conversation with him has been very powerful, and I ask unanimous consent to introduce these documents into the record. In hearing, no objection.
That objection be made a part of the record.
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And now, where do I go with this? My first thoughts are this, that I'm thinking about a situation like Jim Hoft and Gateway Pundit, the fourth most influential conservative pundit throughout the last election cycle, watching his traffic be cut to 1/11 of what it was just on Facebook alone. Yeah. And I don't see that Jim Hoft has as much television presence, perhaps, as our Diamond and Silk have. So I wanted to ask you, Ms. Hardaway, or you, Ms. Richardson, if you didn't have a spot on Fox News, if you had to rely on just watching your traffic go down on YouTube and on Facebook and on Twitter and wherever else, would you have a chance to have a voice to express this, or could it be that because you had another outlet, this issue came up far enough that now America's watching?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because we had another outlet, because the Republicans, certain Republicans spoke out about it and took up for the little voices like ourselves is how this came to light. If not, we would, when they deemed us unsafe to the community, it would have been that. They told us we couldn't appeal it. We would have been out. And this is what happened oftentimes with people in our country, particularly minorities, where these big giants, they take and they put their feet on your neck. They pull the rug right up from under you and then dare you to move. You know, they tell us to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps. But how can we do that when they take those same straps and use them to hang us out to dry? That is not fair, and that's got to stop in this country, and it stops today.
With everybody.
You know, I really appreciate the way you look at the American dream. I want my right to earn the American
That's
dream.
right. That's right.
And is there any difference in your mind between, say, Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, those, we'll call them utilities, not necessarily public utilities, but utilities. Is there any difference between them and, let's say, UPS and FedEx? If you're making your living selling things and shipping it out on FedEx, is that any different than it is making your living by pitching a message out through Facebook?
Absolutely, because listen, they have these platforms to have it where you can monetize. You can make money off of these platforms. So if you're building your brand and you're pumping money into building your brand, it is not fair for somebody to change the rules in the middle of the game. And I think that's what's happening with the American people, some of them. You change the rules in the middle of the game, and then people are left out to dry. That's not fair.
Let me clarify this question. What if you're producing a product, and maybe it's home little garage factory or a larger factory, and you're shipping that product out on FedEx, and FedEx decides you're conservative, so we're not going to deliver your product to your customers. Is there a difference between what's going on with Facebook and what would be going on under that circle?
Well, that would be, to me, discrimination.
Yeah, it's on both, discrimination on both sides.
On both sides. And listen, wait a minute. This is for all voices. No voices should be censored.
None.
And this could be bipartisan. I don't care if you're on the left or the right. The deal is that no voices should be silenced, and you should not be discriminating. If it's a platform to express all ideas, express all ideas.
All ideas.
Not just one side.
That's
not
right.
just put it where it's one-sided, where I'm just seeing liberal views, where you have my account deemed liberal when I'm very conservative. I am a Republican, but you don't have that up there. And why are you making those decisions for me? Why didn't you give us the opportunity to put in what we are, our political affiliation? And what does our political affiliation have to do with Facebook? Just think about that.
I want to let you know that I tweeted you out to see if you were blocked on mine, and you're still alive on my Twitter. So thank you very much. Appreciate your testimony. I yield back.
Would the gentleman yield for?
I would yield to the chairman.
I just want to thank the gentleman for yielding and take note that it would be nice if these three companies were here to explain themselves and their policies and whether they truly are fair to people all across the political spectrum. Because I put in the record liberal organizations that were concerned about this too. They set themselves up as a platform. They need to promote free speech, not stifle it.
Right.
Would the gentleman yield for a second?
Yes, the gentleman controls time, but I'll yield him an additional minute.
I'd yield.
To you.
Thank you. I just want to point out one thing. Ms. Hardaway and Ms. Richardson have had interesting testimony about their interactions with Facebook, and maybe Facebook has treated them unfairly, and maybe not. I don't know. But that doesn't establish a pattern, which is the subject of the hearing. Every one of our other witnesses has said there is no evidence that Facebook is discriminating against conservative views in any way. There may be liberal people who have had the same types of problems or not. And I have sympathy for our two witnesses, Ms. Hardaway and Ms. Richardson, for their difficulty with Facebook. But the basic thing is here, no pattern has been established showing anything at all other than that these two ladies have had a problem with Facebook. Maybe Facebook for some reason doesn't like them or whatever. But in any event, no pattern has been established.
Thank
you,
you, my
gentlemen, for
time
yielding.
is that the documents that I introduced into the record do establish
That's
that
right.
pattern,
Exactly.
and I hope you pay attention to that. Thank you, and I yield back.
The gentleman has expired. The chair recognizes.